You doing? So welcome to the best and broken buff concept. Some of you already know I make this best and broken buff concept of a champion to make them better. So today we're going to be talking about Groot. Okay, I think if we had a vote to get a buff, I think without a doubt Groot is going to win. I think he's probably people that want to get buffed the most is Groot. I don't think he's necessarily the worst champion in the game, but a lot of people want Groot to get buff. He's also simple to use, so a lot of people I think will enjoy his buff because most people will use him because he's not hard to use. So, what kind of buff can Groot get? So, a lot of misconception is like, especially from Kabam as usual, they have no idea what they're talking about. And some people in the comment section, oh, he needs an overhaul. He doesn't need an overhaul, okay? He needs a tune-up, okay? Really, a tune-up can easily make him a good champion, okay? Let's just say if they increase his personal buff, just for now, let's talk about his personal buff. Personal buff by 300%, he would be top 5 best champion, best buff champion in the game. Okay, so what does that mean when he increases personal buff by 300%? So keep in mind that's not tripling his buff potency; it's going to be quadrupling it. Okay, if you increase it by 300%. So when he gets a fury buff, it's going to be 4 times stronger, and his cruelty buff that increased critical damage will be 4 times stronger as well. And also mention his physical resistance will be 4 times the potency, so it'll be 4 times more durable. As well as when it comes to special 2, he does throw he gets a regen buff when his special 2 that increases regen about 14% health. This can vary if you're running damage mastery or you have recovery mastery. So with a increase of his buff potency by 300%, that will quadruple it, and that will be like 56% regen from a special 2 every time he throws it. So that's pretty good. I think that would make him a decent champion. He's not going to be the best champion in the game, obviously, but he's going to hit harder. He's going to be able to be more tanky because of increased physical resistance. He's going to have more regen, so again, make him more tanky. Now, that's a decent buff. Okay, how can we make him the best buff in MCOC? Okay, even the best champion in the game. I would say increase his buff potency by 900%. So basically, 10 times of what you see now. So his fury would be 10 times stronger, and his cruelty damage buff, cruelty buff, that increases critical damage will be 10 times stronger. His regen would be 10 times stronger, so it'd be 140% regen when you throw a special 2. And basically his physical resistance will be 10 times stronger as well. So basically if you gaining 10 physical resistance instead of 1, basically that's what it is if you increase it by 900% potency. So that would make him without a doubt the best champion in the game. Okay, you can arguably that will make him broken. So just imagine, like, if you ever fought Groot, like a Epoch of Pain boss that has over 1,000,000 health and has like 20,000 attack. That is pretty much a champion you'll be like able to play as a player. You'll be able to imagine you're able to play a champion like that with 1,000,000 health pool, or even over 1,000,000 health pool. Let's just say 1,000,000 health pool with 20,000 attack as a 6-star. Okay, as a 6-star, by the way. Okay, a rank 5 ascended 6-star. That is pretty much that's what it would be playing Groot if he gets a buff, increasing his buff potency by 900%. If you don't think that's going to make him the best champion in the game, I have no idea what to tell you. So that's the best buff concept. I think broken buff concept is pretty much, you could argue it's already broken at that concept, but I would say 1,000% buff potency. Personal buff potency, keep that in mind. Okay, personal buff potency. So let's talk about, that seems fairly boring, and obviously 900% increased buff potency is just way too much. I think Kabam will say, nah, that's too much. So let's talk about something more reasonable to increase his buff potency, but give him more utility. So let's talk about, instead, let's make it 300% buff potency, okay? and then give him a utility. So the special one, from his special one, it pretty much is nothing. Okay, for special one attack, he should have an inflict armor break, similar to King Groot. Okay, that instead of have a limit of 10 max attack, it should be a limit of 99 when it comes to inflicting armor break. So it pretty much reduce. What is Groot? Let's look at King Groot. Where you at, King Groot? King Groot. Oh, these are 6 stars. Let's look at King Groot. So when it comes to special one, he does inflict an armor break by 286.36. So pretty much the same as King Groot, but instead of max stack of 10, it will be a max stack of 99. Okay, so eventually you can keep on stacking armor break with King Groot as when it comes to his buff concept. So let's take a look at King Groot again. This is a rank 5. Dude, if he gets a buff like that, this buff concept I'm talking about, this guy instantly will be a 6-star rank 5, 200 ascended. If he ever gets a buff concept I was talking about. So increase his buff potency by 300%. Okay, personal buff. Let's talk about personal buff. And when it comes to special one attack, inflict an infinite armor break that can stack up to 99. When it comes to special 3, he inflicts a bleed, right? It should be something similar to what's his name? Can you guys guess? Can you guys guess who has a critical bleed on his special 3? I think he's the only champion in the game. Can you guess who has it? Okay, I do have him as a 6-star, do I? No, I do. That's weird. I thought I had him as a 6-star. Let's just use the 5-star. And it's Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is the only champion in the game that can inflict critical bleeds on his special 3. So, be similar to Hawkeye, basically. So, what's nice about Hawkeye's, it's based on critical rating. But, again, when you read the second bulletin board, it said, based on Hawkeye's critical chance, bleeds triggered during this attack can be critical bleeds, multiplying the bleeds potency by Hawkeye's critical damage multiplier. So, with Groot, he has a cruelty buff. And then if you increase that by 300% buff potency, and he can stack these, by the way, so it's his fury buffs and his physical resistance. Dude, oh my god. If Groot has this ability, he could be like even just a 300% buff resistance, but increased buff potency when it comes to Groot. Oh my gosh! Wow, I don't know if he can do 1,000,000 damage from a 6-star, but it's definitely going to be able to do at least 100,000, probably even at least 200,000. With increased critical damage from his special 3. This is increasing it by 300%. Okay. When it comes to his personal buff, that's to make him without what else? And when it comes to his passive, unique physical allows debuffed effects to be shrugged off 55% faster. Instead of 55% faster, it would be at 95% faster. So basically, okay, let's go to my masteries. And most people, I think, that plays this game, I could be wrong, but most people have at least 1 point in limber. You kind of pretty much need to have 1 point in limber to be able to unlock dexterity. So I'm assuming that most people have at least 1 point in limber. If you do have 1 point in limber, that will make him pretty much stun immune. Okay, when it comes to Groot, if he has 95% reduced potency, that is so powerful. Who has that ability? And actually, it's pretty much at 100%. Can you guys guess who has that? It's a female, and she is cosmic, by the way. Can you guys guess who has that ability to pretty much reduce damaging debuff over time by 100%? Can you guys guess who it is? It's Angela, of course, right? So it's not 100% like Angela when it comes to reducing damage over time by 100%, but 95% instead of 55% reducing damaging debuff duration, that's pretty strong, okay? And not only damaging debuffs, this will also be non-damaging debuffs. So wow. Wow. And then I think defensive wise, he could be pretty tough to play against. Be able to be pretty much stun immune. I mean, I don't play Battlegrounds or Alliance War, but man, could be tough defender. So again, to make him without doubt best champion in the game is to increase his personal buff by 300%, and for a special one, inflict an armor break, indefinite armor break that can stack up to 99. When it comes to special 3, similar to Hawkeye, basically has a chance to become in critical bleeds and be increased by critical damage multiplier. Not, as you know, he has this cruelty buff as well. And when it comes to what physical allow debuffs effects to be shrugged off at 95% faster than normal. That will make him without a doubt the best champion in the game. Now, how can we make him the broken buff concept? When it comes to his ability, it would be nice if it was not just his personal buffs, but all buffs. If he can increase his personal, not just his personal buffs by 300%, but all buffs, holy moly. Holy moly. Okay? That would make him broken. I think offensive wise, maybe not so much, but defense wise, wow. You know, fighting somebody in incursion with personal space duration like Groot, plus 300% increased buff potency, that would be quadruple what personal space duration is. Holy mackerel, the fact that you can get rid of not damaging debuff at 95% faster rate, you pretty much have to one-shot him. You know, you can't really heal block him because he'll just shrug off the non-damaging debuffs right away. So, wow, he would be such a tough defender if he was like increased 300% buff potency. That's the broken buff concept though. If he increases buff potency by 300%, not just the personal buffs, it just really reminds you how broken Angela is. You know, I mean, Angela, when it comes to Angela, with Odin Synergy, that's only zone 20 at 300 increased buff potency by 300%. And I think Angela, compared to Groot now, has better utility than Groot. Okay, so that is crazy. I mean, I'm taking Angela past zone 100. I think I take increase all the time, pretty much a lot. Where when it comes to Angela, 1,000% buff potency, man. And that's not just her personal buffs, including all the buffs in the game, including all the buffs in Incursion, just to show you how broken she is when it comes to Incursion, because she can win unlimited fights with Odin's Synergy. So I'm taking her over like 1,500% buff potency increase. That is just crazy, okay? But here, I know Kabam is probably not going to be like, yeah, maybe not. That's just too broken, okay? I would be okay. Personally, instead of increasing his personal buff by 300%, I would rather have him increase his personal, not just his personal buff, but all his buff by 200%. Okay, that's including all the nodes that you have, especially obviously Incursion. When you gain buffs, that'll be increased by 200%. I think he would be really, really good buff. I think without a doubt, if he increases buff potency by 200% in all contents, not just his personal buff, as well as giving him a special attack one, inflict armor break that can stack up to 99 indefinite. Special 3 would be pretty much be able to inflict critical bleeds as well as critical damage multiplier, pretty much similar to Hawkeye. Obviously, special 2 when it comes to regen won't be as strong. When it comes to his personal buff, it will only be at 42% when you throw a special attack. But when he gets other regens from other contents like Incursion, wow, he's going to be good. Without a doubt, he would be the best champion in the game. And the most important thing, as well as probably arguably, is the unique physical debuff allowed to shrug off 95% faster. Is pretty much almost immune to damage over time. He's practically immune to non-damaging debuff as well, and practically 1 point in Limber is stun immune. Wow, I don't know if Kabam will allow that. He might be broken if that was the case, especially defense-wise. Wow, but this is only at 200% buff potency. Keep that in mind. All the buffs in the game. So that's it. This is my best and broken buff concept when it comes to Groot. Thank you.